is gonna write a book.
In essence, writing a journal. That is this book, 107 Days. And I cannot wait for you to read this.
Do you think she's actually gonna put anything truthful in it?
Recently, I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system.
And someone who's really likable. I mean, this is really basic, and I'm not saying that she's not likable, but a lot
The book, any plans to buy it?
The only reason you're against it is because you don't think black women's stories are that important.
I didn't know we were still pretending like Kamala Harris was a black woman. I didn't. I just got this memo just a second ago. I didn't know. I thought we had stopped that game. If you're still playing that game, come on up here to the front of the church. I got something to tell you. No, she's not a black woman. Let that go. Let that one go. Now, we can argue about whether or not you like Kamala. We can have that discussion, but let's stop pretending like she's a black woman. Come on. Let's stop. Let's go in here and see what you got. Apparently, she's writing a book. Let's go see what she's talking about.
Gonna write a book.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal. That is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind-the-scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward. In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while, but I remain full of hope, and I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals, always on behalf of the people. So thank you for being in this fight with me. I am forever grateful, and I cannot wait for you to read this.
Do you think she's actually gonna put anything truthful in it?
In the book?
Yeah.
No, 2 words, ghostwriter. Even her ad for this was so obviously like she was reading it for the first time. Talk about robotic. We've written books and talked about it on air, and it is so obvious when you are talking about something you know and that you did. She's like, and this is that book, 107 Days. I mean, it's horrific. It looks like a hostage video, but what do you expect from her? Here's what I'm wondering, though, you guys. I'm wondering if, you know, at this point, she's retired after the Super Bowl. Even though she's a failed presidential candidate, she has all of these yes men surrounding her saying, dang, I wish you would have run for governor. Please run for 2028 president, etc. I'm wondering if her ego is going to be such that she's like, you're right, I should do it. Or if she realizes that this is the highest stock she'll ever have. That if she gets out now, there will always be people that will say, no, please have stayed in. And that way she will not be another failed presidential candidate. So to me, I think that decision will be made whether either she makes the call or whether she listens to the true people with brains in her party, if there are any, which are saying, don't go anywhere near an election ever again.
And I can actually respect that. I can respect it. But what truly would she be saying? I would love for you down in the comments, let me know if you're a Kamala supporter. Well, first of all, are you still pretending like she's a black woman? But let's forget that part. What truly would she say that you were like, oh, I just can't wait to hear her talk about what? What is it particularly that she's going to talk about that you just cannot wait to hear about? Because this is going to be interesting. And I do agree. I think it's going to be a ghostwriter. I don't believe she's going to write this book at all. But let's go.
Kamala Harris broke her media silence last night with a first interview since losing to Donald Trump back in November. The former vice president joined
Stephen Colbert on The Late Show.
Getting
canceled
next
year.
Fresh off her announcement of choosing not to run for governor of California and announcing a book about her 107-day-long campaign for the White House.
Recently, I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken. I want to travel the country. I want to listen to people. I want to talk with people. And I don't want it to be transactional where I'm asking for their vote.
She's weighing in there about her decision
Interesting.
not to enter the California governor's race. That race was virtually at a standstill until she decided what she was going to do, saying that she doesn't want to be part of the system anymore, at least for now, not answering a speculation about 2028 and what she might do with the presidential race.
So a lot of people think she's going to run for president. And one of them is former President Obama's campaign manager, David Axelrod, who said, it's clear she is setting herself up to run. She'll begin as the polling leader in any race for president just by dint of having been the nominee last time. But a lot of Democrats want to turn the page on all of that and look forward.
We've got some polling that shows just sort of how popular she is right now amongst those who you might see in a Democratic primary above other governors like Tim Walz and Josh Shapiro and Gavin Newsom. What do you make of this whole I don't want to be in the system yet?
Yeah. Well, the polling, we should point out that with this primary polling, name ID is almost everything.
Right.
And she's such a recognizable figure that, it's very clear that in the polling, she's a front runner right now for the 2028 race. That being said, I think David.
On what planet? I think it's because you got some jacklegs. Yeah, like what planet is she a front runner? Okay.
Axelrod is echoing the sentiments of a lot of the Democratic Party when he says that Democrats really want to turn the page. I think a lot of Democrats wish they had one of those, Men in Black memory erasers for the 2024 election. They're looking for a unifying voice, someone who's going to bring the many factions of the party together. They're not so sure that they're going to find that in their 2024 presidential nominee.
And someone who's really likable. I mean, this is really basic, and I'm not saying that she's not likable, but a lot of voters didn't think that she was. During the election, she didn't resonate the way the party would have liked to have seen her resonate with voters and get her over the top.
Coming out with the book, any plans to buy it?
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it. I'd love to see it. No. I'd find it. Look, I find everything in politics interesting. I sort of enjoy politics.
Why aren't Black women's stories worth writing down? Because
the fact that this woman is still pretending, y'all in the comments below, am I just being harsh? I thought we had already kind of crossed that Rubicon that she really wasn't a Black woman. Like, I thought we were already good with that. We all kind of said, yeah, you're right. And kind of moved on. No, it's not that Black women's story is not worth writing down or even being put in a book or even being sold or even being told. It's the fact that she's not a Black woman. Stop it.
I see people coming onto these apps, these so-called leftists, and they're now saying, oh, Kamala Harris coming out with the book, that's a terrible move. She wants to become president one day. First of all, she's not running for any office right now. And as well, why do we always have to have books and records of white men's stories, but as soon as a Black woman makes a record, makes a book, then somehow that's a cash grab, like she didn't need to write this book, it's not that important. I think it's important. I already got it on pre-order, signed, right? I'm getting that book and I'm reading the hell out of it, okay?
I would love for this young lady to tell me, what are you excited about? What, and again, I'll let her pretend like Kamala's a Black woman. What is it that you're actually excited about? What about it got you clutching your pearls, pre-order, signed copy? What is it? What is it that you're expecting to get from there that's causing you all of this just elation? What is it?
So it's just so crazy to me that we have all the money in the world to write down white men's stories, talk about boring ass things that I don't really care about all day in school. And as soon as a Black woman talks about her story of becoming the vice president of the United States, the first woman to do so, y'all are not going to take that away from her. She did that on her own successfully.
But she didn't actually. She was selected by a white man. She didn't do it by herself. It's not like she fought to become vice president on her own strength. She was selected by the presidential candidate. Like, I know this woman knows this. She cannot be. I mean, because she's talking to the camera looking very serious. So she cannot be this obtuse. I refuse to believe that.
Cry about it. She ran one of the shortest presidential campaigns in American history. And it was
that's
a
fine.
beautiful campaign. I don't care what nobody says. It was a
What was beautiful about it? That's what I'm saying. I disagree, but I'm willing to hear down in the comments if you think that Kamala's campaign, presidential campaign, was beautiful. The 107 days of beautifulness. What was it? What was beautiful about it?
gorgeous campaign. She did a great job. And I think that story should be remembered. I think it should be written down. And we live in capitalism. Everything costs money. Her story should be heard. The only reason you're against it is because you don't think Black women's stories are that important.
No, I don't think Kamala's story is that important. But put it out there. I have no problem with you putting it out there. I don't care. Stop saying it's a Black woman, though. That's number one. And two, stop trying to pretend like, well, the only reason people don't like it is because they hate Black women. No, they really don't care. We don't think that she was an eloquent speaker. So we're not really expecting to read something that's eloquent unless it's written by somebody else. But even more than that, what did she do that was so exciting? She ran the worst presidential campaign ever. It was the first time she ran. She didn't even match a primary. She was selected by Joe Biden to become vice president. They ran and won. And then she ran again and completely got shellacked. What did she actually win? She won under a white man. Don't forget that.
And that also means a brand new fantasy football punishment has entered the universe. And that is, if you finish in last place in your fantasy football league this year, you will be locked in a room with no phone until you finish reading every single page of Kamala Harris's new book. And when you finish all 500 pages, you will be required to give the entire league a presentation. And if that presentation does not pass ChatGPT standards, we will ask ChatGPT if it was a good presentation or not. You will then be required to listen to the audiobook for 24 hours straight.
Wow. I don't even play fantasy football. That would make me want to be as dialed in as possible. He said locked in a room with no other means of communication except that book until I finish reading that book, and then I got to give a presentation. That would make me dial in. I would not be the last one in fantasy football. I don't even know how to play fantasy football. I don't even know how it works. But I'm telling you right now, I would be dialed in like a hawk because there's no way I would have to. Oh my gosh. Play fantasy football. Fantasy football is crazy.
Friends, Kamala Harris is back, and she's even more of an utter calamity than before. Okay, the word salads have gotten worse. She was on Stephen Colbert's show last night. She couldn't even remember the word for the wire on the earphones.
And I know I've been teased about this, but I like these kinds of earpods that have the thing, because...
Now, Colbert is the perfect show for Kamala Harris to come back on because they both know how to blow millions and billions of dollars, okay? She left her campaign in the DNC in debt, and he was also running a deficit of $40 million a year on CBS. Now, she's out promoting this new book about her 107-day campaign, and Miss Genius Creative here, she's named the book 107 Days. There's nothing else that's interesting about her, okay? I don't know why they're calling it 107 days. They maybe should call it 107-day detox or 107-day stint at the Betty Ford Rehab Center. That would be more apropos for Kamala Harris. Instead of 107 days, Instead of 107 days, she needs 12 steps, okay? That's what she needs. Also, instead of 107 days, maybe 107 shots of vodka, 107 trips to the minibar. We went through Kamala Harris's trash cans. You know what fell out? 107 bottles of Cabernet. All this time, we talked about how Joe Biden was non-compos mentis. He was in cognitive decline. I'm here to tell you, Kamala Harris is struggling to form coherent sentences. I don't know if Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, and all these other Democrats, they learn how to be inarticulate and uncouth. Maybe there's some school they go to, but whatever it is, it's not working because Kamala Harris is a disaster. At this point, I hope Kamala Harris runs in 2028. I hope she's the Democratic nominee because that would be very entertaining for me to watch, but she's going to have to answer at some point for the cover-up surrounding Joe Biden, okay? Who are these unelected bureaucrats pulling the strings? Kamala Harris, she was right there in lockstep with them. Joe Biden's advisors literally sent our country into the gutter, and Kamala Harris, she was put in charge of the border, then oversaw the worst invasion we've ever seen in American history at the southern border. Is she ready to answer for those things? Is that what's in this book, 107 days? Or is it just gonna be 107 excuses? Because if that's the case, I'm 108% over it. And Kamala Harris, you know how you can tell she's lying? Because her lips are moving. On Stephen Colbert, he asked her about not running for governor of California, and she said, the system is broken. I don't want to go back into the system because it's so broken. I'm here to tell you, if she had won in November and not had her ass handed to her, losing every single swing state, she would not be saying the system is broken. She's a sore loser. She's a sore loser who doesn't want to admit she's a terrible person and a terrible politician. So apparently the system is broken. Kamala Harris saying the system is broken is like when a guy says the condom broke the... I can't wait for this book to come out. I can't wait for this book to come out. I'm going to be annotating like I'm studying for the SATs. I am going to rip this book to shreds line by line. She did not do an interview for the first 40 days. Could you imagine a vice president, let alone a presidential candidate, hiding and ducking from reporters for 40 days? What was going on? Was Kamala detoxing? Was there some bigger issue at play where she could not give interviews for 40 days? That's pretty concerning. And during her tenure as vice president for 4 years, from January 2021 to January 2025, she saw about a 92% staff turnover. The bullying allegations, the laziness, the yelling, the fighting, all the stories we were told not to cover for 4 years, are those going to be addressed in the book? Because Kamala Harris, I've heard she's a terrible boss and she would be a terrible executive, and the president is the chief executive of the country.
Joe's auto pen wrote it for her. That is crazy. That is so sick of politicians grifting off of the people they serve. Here, buy my book. Like, I'm with you right there. How fitting that she gives her first interview on a canceled show. I just catch that. First interview, and it's on the Colbert. That's all you need to know. Only 10,000 views in 2 hours. Wow. I feel like she just used ChatGPT to write the whole thing. It's very possible. I am looking forward to reviewing the reviews. I'm not going to read the book. I'm not going to read it, but I want to know what you think about it. Hey, let me know. Give me a 2 cent down in the bottom. First of all, what was she right about? What is she excited about? And if you're a Kamala supporter, are you still pretending like she was a black woman? I mean, whatever you feel about her, that's beside the point. Are we still pretending? Are we supposed to still pretend like she's a black woman? I just need to know. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I really appreciate you all rocking with us. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.